He had like those assistants, and there was someone who was like in charge of his necktie, of how he knot the neckties, and I said, he would turn to me and say, do you think it's right? Is this good? Well, Bob, if you say so, I'm sure. Yeah, it's great, and then he would turn to me and say, maybe if it, if you move it a little bit like this, and oh my God. And we would have another session like a week later, and he would say, I thought about it, the texture of the pants, they were not right. I asked for other, and I had to go through that stuff, and we rewrote his lines. We rewrote his lines because the character was a Chicago mafia boss, so he wanted to meet. I did a lot of research. I'm obsessive with research, So that part was fine with me. But he would start working. He asked, okay, for the way that guy speaks, I need to meet someone who has known him. I say, yeah, sure. So I provided someone, but he was not interested in the guy because he was not the right profile or whatever. So he brought this guy who is this kind of caricature of mobs, with pinstripe suits and whatever, and who just all of a sudden who helped him rewrite because he had known that the specific mafia boss, so he helped him. So we went through sessions, and I thought the sessions were boring. I thought the guy was full of shit, and so I had to go through the whole process. And then at some point, De Niro called me and said, I'm not happy with the stuff we've been doing with that guy, but I met another guy who's really interesting. He was the guy that suggested him in the first place. And we rewrote the whole thing again. And it goes on and on and on until we've gone through every single scene, every single line in every single scene, every single pants and necktie and whatever. And then the film did not happen. But it's like I had already finished the job. I just had to record whatever we had been doing, which is to me a bit boring on the boring side. But then I totally adapted, not just because he's Robert De Niro, because he's an actor who functions like that. He kind of needs this process, and I have to agree with him that whatever he brought to the character and to the film was excellent. It was really, he was right. It was a process of trial and error, okay, but still, extremely relevant. So again, you can't have like an ideology of how to function with acting. You have to adapt.
Sort of adapt.
Of course.
And will this film happen in the future, maybe?
It may.
with Robert De Niro, he's got the pants ready. So
I know. But it may be another actor.
I wanted to ask about Carlos. It's a very interesting project for you because it's 5.5 hours long, a TV series.
I'm extremely cautious with the film in the sense that, to me, the reason I did it is because I did it in exactly the same condition that he did. So to me, Carlos is a Yes, it's no, but I'm not saying that it's not just a theoretical I spent like we spent 3-4 hours speaking. So I thought, he's the guy. He's the guy. He has this thing. I mean, he's impressive. He's physically, he's an extremely smart person. Because he's Venezuelan, because he comes from a very educated family, he knows about the politics of Carlos extremely well. And I mean, everything I was dealing with, it's something that nothing was new to him. He knew that story. And again, he had this charisma. So it's so I let him do his homework. He started. I would let him. Again, if we're talking wardrobe, if we're talking hair and makeup, etc., I let him control that. I mean, he worked with my wardrobe designer, and I did not spend. I was saying I gave them a few photos of Carlos at different moments, and they had all the research, etc. And he worked with the wardrobe guy. He worked on his hair. He worked on his. On his moustache and beard or whatever, and they showed me the result. And usually I had very little to say. I kind of nailed it every time.
I think it's a good time to maybe open up for some questions.